Hello, lovies. This is Coach Ange. I am a burnout coach for women ages 35 to 65, and I am here to talk about journaling. Journaling is something that I have been a proponent of for quite some time. I have found the benefit in my personal growth in life, and so I continue to educate others on the power of it. Journaling is often very misunderstood. People feel intimidated by journaling, and that's just not necessary. Journaling doesn't have to be some overbearing thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not poetic. It's not meant for anyone to read except you unless you so desire. So it can truly be anything. Journaling couples the power of taking your thoughts out of your head and putting them on paper with the power of writing. This does a lot of different things. So one thing it does is it helps you to process. So a lot of us are external processors, and even if you're an internal processor, having an opportunity to externally process can really make a big difference in how you feel and the way that you handle situations that are going on in your life. Having journaling to be able to utilize that external processing can make a big difference. We don't always have someone that we can run and talk to. We don't always have someone that we feel like we can share certain things with. But you and a notebook, there's some safety there. And there's a lot of opportunity for you to really take time to pause, to consider the situations, to process them, and to even resolve them in some cases. So journaling really has a lot of power. There's so many different ways to journal. I'm going to go over a few of them, but really it's just infinite, the number of ways that you can journal, and it's so very personal. Journaling has to do with whatever works best for you. So if you are journaling, you aren't going to get it wrong. There's no test. Again, nobody has to see it unless you allow someone to see it. And even if you do allow someone that privilege, that other person has no right to judge or criticize the way that you journaled. So it's time to really put those fears to the side and start journaling. I'm a huge fan of journaling with pen and paper. I think that there's just something magical about it. In this day and age, we type so much, we really don't sit and write. However, that doesn't mean that typing is wrong. Typing in your journal or using a digital journal where you write with a digital pen or you type, that's fine too. There is no wrong way to journal. If you are a pen and paper journaler, you don't have to have the perfect pen and the perfect paper. Believe me, I get it. I am a school supply, office supply junkie. I have my favorite pens. I have the other pens. I have the additional pens. I have the highlighters, the Sharpies. I have it all. And I get how it can feel like you need to have a certain paper and a certain pen to journal, but you don't. Sometimes that's just something we tell ourselves to give ourselves an excuse to hold off on journaling. Journaling can be a scary thing for your brain because your brain likes to stay safe, and journaling gets the things out of your brain. And if we fear judgment or if we're struggling with a situation, then our brain can decide that taking it out of its brain, out of there, is not safe, because if it's only up there, the brain can keep it safe. But really, it's not keeping it safe. It's really causing us a lot more struggle than it intends to. But that's just how she's wired. So, sometimes we find all of these little excuses and reasons as to why we can't get started, why we can't journal, and having the perfect notebook and the perfect pen is one. However, I will say that there is a bit of fun that can be added when you do have the right notebook and you do have the right pen. So finding that can be helpful, but it can also be paralyzing if you're waiting on that, because sometimes you never find the right one if you aren't already an office supply junkie like I am. So find a notebook. Figure out what way works best for you, whether it's just typing it out in the Notes app on your phone, typing it in a Word doc, creating a blog that you don't necessarily publicize and make available for the world, creating a blog that you do publicize and make available for the world, using Facebook or what have you. There's so many different ways to journal. Mind dump is one of the first styles that I'll talk about. Mind dump is where you literally just write whatever is going on in your head. It's usually the one I recommend my clients start with because it's the easiest, and while I say it's the easiest, it's still not easy, but it's the easiest way to get started. It really is you sitting down. I encourage you to set a timer for 10 minutes. That way you are giving yourself enough time to really get that process going. Journaling is just like any other activity. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And so it's really important for you to be consistent and persistent when you're journaling. Mind dump journaling, if you set a timer for 10 minutes every single day and you sit down and you just write out whatever it is that you're thinking, truly that's, I have to go to the doctor today, I need to make an appointment for the kids, it's finally getting cooler outside, I'm excited about soup weather, or, if it's deeper, I'm really struggling with this certain relationship in my life and I don't know what the answer is. So it can vary from very, very shallow thoughts to very deep thoughts. And the beauty of mind dumping is that you're really just getting all that clutter out of there. It's like cleaning out your purse, right? So we tend to, especially my generation, I feel like the younger generation doesn't carry purses as much, so maybe a book bag or car or whatever may get gradually filled with stuff. Our mind gets gradually filled with stuff, with to-dos, with stresses, with situations, with worries, with information, with news. It just full. And if you don't get it out, then it stays in there. And like I said, your brain likes to hold on to those things because it feels like it's keeping it safe, but it's not. It's really just bogging us down. So being able to empty out that purse every now and then really makes a big difference. In the same way with your brain, being able to empty those things out, just get them down on paper, really helps. It's a great starter because it just gets you into the practice of writing what's in your head. Sometimes truly it can be paralyzing even to do that. It can feel like, and so that's why I say set the timer so that you know that you really did try to get some of those things out. And again, it can be, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I woke up, but I really don't want to be awake right now. I wish I was still in bed. Like something truly that simple just helps to unlock that habit, that experience, that routine. So mind dumping is an excellent way to get started. The next one I'm going to talk about is morning pages. So morning pages is a concept that I read about in a book called The Artist's Way. And she suggests that you sit every morning and write out 3 pages of a story. So this is really great for writers. As a writer, you tend to get writer's block. And the cure to writer's block is writing. And, or some say the cure to writer's block is writing. Doing morning pages is much the same as mind dumping, in my opinion, and can be treated the same as well. It doesn't have to be some well thought out novel. It's 3 pages. So it's not going to be a complete story. And it doesn't even have to be the start of one. It can be some ideas that you have going on in your head. It can be more mind dumping where you're just writing out 3 pages worth. Or it can be, if you have an idea for a story that you're working on, you can commit yourself to doing those 3 pages every single day, and that will really add up to being a story, a short story, a novel, or whatever it is that you're looking to do. Those pages add up quickly. The practice of writing helps to enforce the practice of writing, and the practice of creativity helps to create more creativity. So morning pages is another really great way for creatives to journal. Guided journaling is something that is excellent for beginners. This is the prompt journaling where there's a question that you have to answer, because again, just simply the practice of writing really helps you to pull those thoughts that are going on in your head and put them onto paper. So guided journaling can be, it can be a short story prompt where, you're asked a question that could lead to you kind of answering in a morning pages sort of way. Or it could be a question that asks about, you and how you're doing or things going on in your life. And that could help to really create that mind dump that you're needing. So guided journaling can go a bunch of different ways, and it can really help with those who just feel completely frozen, even by mind dump or morning page journaling. The next journaling is something that I think is probably, well, no, I was going to say it was probably one of the first times that I journaled, but that's not true. I've been journaling my entire life, actually. Gratitude journaling is something that Oprah Winfrey made popular when I was in junior high. And we had an English teacher that had us do it every day. And it was painful. I didn't like it. Granted, I probably felt like I couldn't find things to be grateful for. Now I love it. I love gratitude journaling. I love finding things to be grateful for. I live in as much gratitude as I can. Of course, it's not constant. Of course, it ebbs and flows. But I really believe that the foundation for happiness is gratitude. The foundation for success is gratitude. And so I am a huge fan of it now, but I did not like it when I was younger. But gratitude journaling truly can be in a variety of ways as well. So do you see a pattern here, that there's different ways to do things, and don't let yourself be stuck in just one way. But gratitude journaling can be as simple as write down 5 things that you're grateful for today. Write about the best thing that happened to you yesterday, or today if you journal in the evening. It can be write 10 things that you're grateful for and write why you're grateful for them. It can go so many different directions, and really gratitude, when you start to write about gratitude, it really again reinforces that thought. You actually will start to look for things to be grateful for so that you can write about it. Something will happen and you'll say, oh, I'm going to remember that so I can write about it today or tomorrow. So gratitude journaling can be super powerful in really making those mindset shifts towards an attitude of gratitude, towards having a positive, optimistic outlook. So gratitude journaling is definitely something I'm a big fan of. Affirmations journaling is a really great way to reinforce the mindset changes that you're trying to have. Affirmations are statements that you create to either change an existing thought or reinforce a positive thought you already have. So there are apps and websites, and I have a worksheet to help you create your own affirmations. There are so many different ways to do and have affirmations. Affirmation journaling can be taking an affirmation and then just writing about it, expanding on it, explaining why that's your affirmation, or why this resonates with you, or what it is that you're struggling with within this affirmation. If your affirmation is what is meant for me will not pass me by, but you feel like you're really struggling with FOMO, then you can write about that. Or if you feel like you really connect with that statement, then you can write about that. And it just really cements those thoughts that you have about affirmations and whatever those affirmations in general are. The next kind of journaling I'm not as familiar with, so I won't be able to go into great detail about it. Bullet journaling is a really interesting concept to me. I find it fascinating. I know some people who do it. They're very type A, they're very organized. That doesn't mean that all people who do bullet journaling are, but that just happens to be my experience. So bullet journaling has to do with having a journal and having dots that are symbols, bullets that indicate what you're doing, and then on the outer edge of the paper, having those bullets match whatever it is. So if it's line 2 is gratitude, then, and you do a gratitude entry, then you put a dot on line 2. If line 5 is affirmations, and you do an affirmations, and you can really, there's YouTube videos about it. It goes really deep and can go really far. It can blend from the journaling into the planning aspect, which there is a fine line there, if you ask me. Often those of us who enjoy journaling typically enjoy using a planner as well, but that's another video altogether. So bullet journaling is something that is really great for keeping things organized and having things neat and tidy, and probably planning as well. So I encourage you to look up more information on that if that kind of piques your interest. And apologies that I don't have more information, but it's just not something that I've been able to do. I tried it years ago and discovered it was not my thing. And that's another thing is trying. There's no harm in trying something and it not working. There's often this concept of failure, of not being successful because something didn't work out, and that's just not the case. If we treat these experiences as data and use that data to make better decisions about what we need, what works for us, what we like, then it's certainly not a failure. It's a beneficial thing to have experienced. So, me, I tried the bullet journaling. It wasn't my thing. I know people who love it. And so it doesn't mean that I suck because I couldn't bullet journal. It just means that it wasn't for me. So in anything, but, especially in regards to journaling, trying all these different kinds, just because one doesn't work doesn't mean that, oh, you shouldn't have even bothered trying and who do you think you are? It means that one didn't work, and really kind of being able to use it as data to say, well, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, can also help, because that can help you to then decide, okay, well, has some of the qualities of the things that work for me. Maybe I'll try that. The next one is dream journaling. So dream journaling is neat if you are a night dreamer, where you dream in your sleep. You can have a notebook and pen by your side. One of my best friends got me a light up pen so that I can write. If I wake up after I have a dream, I can write about it. And then I can, analyze it in the morning, and so that's one way to dream journal. Another way to dream journal is when you are dreaming big about your goals, when you are really envisioning the things that you want to accomplish. I have a dream journal where I write down ideas that I have that I am not at a place to work on, but I don't want to forget them because I really like the thought of it. And it's full of different stuff, and every now and then I will go back and look at it, see if there's something that I just happen to have worked on inadvertently, or if there's something that I want to work on. And sometimes something that I've decided is just not for me anymore. At the time it sounded good, but now it just doesn't fit into my business plan or who I am or whatever that may be. So there's two different definitions of dreaming. There's the literal dreaming that we do when we're asleep. You can write about that dream and then take that information and analyze it and see, what that could mean for you if that's your thing. And then there's dreams that we have as people, as goals, as big ideas of things that we want to accomplish. So many of us have grown up having our dreams just stomped all over, being told that things aren't realistic and that, we have to stay within the realm of reality, or else, we're going to end up despondent and homeless or what have you. But the truth of the matter is that dreams are vital to our success. Dreams are vital to our happiness and our joy. we have to be able to dream, or else we won't be able to reach outside of our current world. Having goals is really great, and having steps to get to those goals is super, but having dreams outside of those goals are what really keeps you going, because having goals can get boring. Having dreams are exciting. Something about the way the brain works with our happy chemicals is that when we have an idea or a thought or want to do something, the dopamine that we get comes then. As you're trotting through the process, you lose that dopamine. It's not a continuous drip. You're not just constantly being fed the dopamine, which is why the excitement wanes and the real struggle sets in. And then you're like, well, what do I do now? Well, that's where dreaming can help. That's kind of a way to keep that dopamine going and piggyback off of it, so that you then say, well, I'm dreaming of being on the cover of XYZ magazine, but right now that's certainly not going to happen. But the thought of it excites you. Writing about it excites you. Writing about the feelings that you'll have and the things that you'll do and how it'll benefit your business excites you. And so then you can take that excitement and then go do the day-to-day tasks that you need to do to be able to eventually reach that goal. The last kind of journaling that I'm going to talk about, which again, there's so many more than this, but these are just the main ones that I could think of, is poetic journaling. So, journaling doesn't have to be poetry. People kind of feel like it has to sound like some, Victorian in love wrote it, and that it just sounds lovely and ready for TV. But true journaling is usually not that. However, if you are a poetry writer, then poetry journaling could be excellent for you. Or if you want to be a poetry writer, if it's not a skill that you really have a lot of experience in, then doing so while you're journaling is an amazing way to get that practice in, to get used to putting those words together, to stop being so critical on yourself. So, I highly recommend, much like morning pages are ideal for writers who want to do something bigger. Poetry journaling can be perfect for those who have the itch but don't know how to scratch it. So those are all the different kinds of journaling, and I hope that one of those spoke to you at least, if not more. So we have mind dump journaling, where you're just writing everything out. We have morning pages, where you do 3 or 4 pages of either a story or a subject or what have you, or even mind dumping. We have guided journaling, which is can be something like a prompt for writing a short story, or a prompt for expressing your feelings that you have going on right now. You have gratitude journaling, where you can write about the reasons that you're grateful, whether it's a one thing of the best thing that happened to you, or it's 10 things and explaining why. Whatever it may be, gratitude can go a really long way. There's affirmations journaling, where you take an affirmation and you expand upon it. You talk about why you are working towards it, which ways it is helping you, which ways it isn't, whatever that may be. There's bullet journaling, which is an organized way to journal and organize the subjects and thoughts that you have. Dream journaling, whether it's nighttime dreaming in your sleep, or whether it's the big goals and aspirations that you have. And then poetic journaling, where if you are an aspiring poet, you can practice your craft and really get some words on paper that way. So many different ways to journal, many different options, and I encourage you to choose one. And like I said, if it doesn't work for you, then move to another one. I encourage you to stick with it and give it a go, because it can be hard at first. Like I said, our brain likes to keep those thoughts protected, but I promise you, emptying that purse can really go a long way. So I thank you so much for being with me today. My name is Angela Singletary. I am Coach Ange. I am a burnout coach, and I help women ages 35 to 65 get unstuck and start to live their best life. They go from surviving to thriving, and I am thrilled to be with you today. If any of this speaks to you and you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me a message. We can have a free consultation, and I'm happy to share with you anything that I can in the world of journaling, as it is something that is very near and very dear to my heart. You are also near and dear to my heart. I love you so very much, and I hope you have the best day.